Episode 6 of the Universal Order Show is here, and I really hope you enjoy today's guests. So, without further ado, please allow me to welcome the man of the hour, or at least for this week, Argonaut. What is
Oh,
going on, brother?
uh, nothing. Are you sure you're streaming? Oh, you
So,
are. Okay.
yes, I am. So, according to my notes here, it says that you had a webcam, but you sold it to buy a Gargara pillow. Is that right?
Yes, several of them.
So you have been with us for a very long time, since the Crusade, maybe even before that. There's been, you've healed raids, you've tanked them, you've damaged them. I mean, you've done it all. So I look forward to getting to all the good, juicy stories. But first, as always, we start at the beginning. But with you, I am able to ask a question that I cannot ask anybody else. So, Mr. Argonaut, do you in fact love mudkips?
Yeah, probably more than anybody else could possibly love a mudkip. I take them home and I pet them and I feed them. I give them a nice steak dinner, and then and if they try to evolve, I bonk them on the head with a newspaper and I tell them no.
We'll get into the whole mudkip thing in a moment. So, the first character that I knew you as was a paladin named Leonidas. Now, am I correct in assuming that it was named after the Spartan king, King
Yeah,
Leonidas?
it's 300 had just it was popular then, and it had actually been named Lloyd previously, but that got reported from
What?
Untitled Symphonia.
Wait, so because Lloyd was from another game, you got reported?
Yeah, probably by Damascus's alt or something. He was probably sneaking around back at Burning Crusade, just being a little bastard.
That's funny. Uh, all right. So was
Leonidas
sorry.
build
So,
was trash. Don't even say that, chat. Screw you for even suggesting that.
so you, like I said, started off as a healer, at least as far as I can remember. So how long did that go on for?
Uh, all the way through Burning Crusade, except for maybe the last little bit of it where I was messing around with Rhett because they were getting Divine Storm and that was broken as hell on release. So I wanted to mess around with that. Yeah, so it was pretty much just through Burning Crusade was when I was a healer. That was the only time really.
Okay. Eventually, you and your friends, for whatever reason, had moved on and made the Mudkips, or at least an alt guild. How did that come to be?
Yeah, that was when the whole thing with Black Omen went down, and some people separated to go make unholy derpstiny, and I was like, well, maybe it's time for Mudkips to rise up, and we enjoyed raiding Karazhan and then doing Gruul's lair with Universal Order because we didn't have enough people for 25 men. And we got
Well,
the best, sweetest boy, Shredder, and he will be missed. I assume that he's a Fortune 500 company owner by now.
I'm not quite remembering the name.
He was like a 10-year-old that was in Mudkips.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I also vaguely remember that you, very briefly, correct me if I'm wrong, were on another server at some point.
Yeah, Cataclysm. One of my other friends that lived up here was gonna go to Blackrock and try that out. So I was like, yeah, I'll go. So I went over there and we played with some Aussies.
So we had amazing experiences in nearly every expansion. Wrath of the Lich King, we had so many bodies, so many great times and memories, and it just continues for every expansion, maybe with the exception of Warlords. Now, once Legion came about, obviously the Demon Hunter class was available. Now, you have been a phenomenal Demon Hunter, both as a tank for Havoc and Vengeance. Now, where does the name Argonaut come from, if not Jason and the Argonauts?
We'll go with that. Yeah, it's from Jason and the Argonauts. Don't think too deeply. Don't ever listen to what Finneroth calls me separately. It's Jason and the Argonauts. That's better. Yep.
Okay.
Don't you fucking say it, Lena. I'll come over to your house.
And so, where does it actually
Stop it.
come from?
Stop it. Zel, I've got an excellent website link that I could give you. It's let's just say it's a certain guild mother's dark history, and you could get a lot of content out of that. I'm just saying, it'd probably be the most interesting thing that has ever been posted online.
I take it I have some homework to do.
Start up in expose universal order where you just destroy the livelihoods of your fellow guildmates.
So, is there anybody that was a part of the Mudkip Guild besides Shredder that did not make their way to Universal Order? And if so, do you still keep in contact with them?
Probably the only other one that I really remember was Voodoo. He's a Canadian. He's a good boy, and he played for a while in Burning Crusade. I saw him a bit in Wrath, and then I think one other expansion he popped on briefly to check it out, but he just kind of lost interest in the game. But he was a good dude. He was fun to play with.
Uh, would that be Voodoo the Priest?
Voodoo
Oh,
the Troll Priest, I believe.
okay. I yeah, I think I've seen him pop a couple times, but yeah, I didn't know that's where he came from, or if I did, I forgot.
Yep, that's when he got scooped up was Mudkips.
You had a very impressive uh, crew of people that also played, but one by one, things happened and they stopped. So, do any of them intend to return at some point?
Uh, Probably not unless like Blizzard make a good game. But Flop did Flop play in you? I think Flop did come to Universal Order for a
Was
little
that
bit,
a
but he
druid?
stopped. No, it was a warrior.
Warrior? I don't know. For some reason, that name is only very, very vaguely ringing a bell. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think he finished Burning Crusade. I think that he ended up leaving before then. But it's just like people either don't have as much time or they're just not as interested in WoW anymore. So
One of the things that I find absolutely incredible about you is that once you set out to do a grind, whether it be reputation or to unlock something, it astounds me how fast you were able to not only accomplish it, but completely commit. What is your secret to just, like in Legion, the amount of artifact power you were able to get was just phenomenal? Or uh, in BFA, it just always mind boggled me. In this one, all the reputations, you've always been incredible with that. How do you go about just charging ahead and still maintaining a brain cell of sanity?
if there's some kind of goal like that is at least mildly appealing to me, then I can put my nose to the grindstone and just do it because it's just something that I want to do. Uh, that's why with uh, this expansion, it's kind of dropped off for me because anima power is fucking useless. There's no point in grinding that. It's like, oh, you want cosmetics? Not kinda. And it's like, how much does each one cost? 10K? Okay, yeah, go fuck yourself. Maybe take a couple zeros off that, and I won't feel like shit when I go out to do your long ass world quests for no fucking reason.
And the grind is definitely real. Uh,
Yeah, that's why this expansion, the grind for me was once I realized that leatherworking was profitable, I wanted to get gold cap. So I did that instead.
Another incredible feat, by the way. So, for a brief moment, speaking of current times, you were considering, and maybe still are, your main swapping to mage. Why that, and is that still a course you plan on?
Now it's kind of tentative because I really like the fire mage playstyle because it just seemed fun. And I hadn't ever mained the mage before because I've hopped
Mm-hmm.
around mains since Burning Crusade into Wrath because I did the paladin, and then in Wrath I did a warlock. I was on Killjoy and enjoying that a lot with destruction. Then in Blackrock or Cataclysm, I did the Warlock again, and then messed with Demonology back when its AOE was busted. Uh, and then I switched over to Enhancement Shaman. And then in Mists, I had to try a monk because I wanted to fucking play a monk. I
Of
was one of the
course.
people that wanted Pandaren monks years before they were released, so I was excited when they put them in the game. And I was okay with sticking with that as my main class because of how mobile it was. But then, of course, Legion came out and they're like, yo, you want an even more mobile class? And you get
Yep.
Illidan as your dad? And I was like, sign me up. I want Illidaddy. Toss some tattoos on my face and give me some glaives. Let's go.
Do you feel, as I do, that once Legion was over, that the Demon Hunter's place, from a story point of view, was just like, okay, now what do we do?
Uh, yeah, they kind of seem out there as far as like, why would they keep fighting? But I guess they're here. So I mean, they they chose a faction. I guess they have to abide by whatever the faction's doing. But by all means, it doesn't make much sense. And it kind of fucking pisses me off that there are no demons in Shadowlands.
It's
My powerful
yeah.
passive hasn't proc since Legion.
Oh man, I know how that feels with paladins. If they did not add, I believe they call it aberrations, to the list of things that we can affect, again, it was like, what's the point? You know, like in Wrath of Lich King, it was like, oh, you want undead? Here you go. Everything is undead. And ever since then, they even removed abilities that affected that because they weren't using them. So it felt like, okay, why am I here? Um, so
How's lore only be rock solid when they unveil the fact that Jane is a dreadlord?
so again, to bring us back to the mage, is is that something you're still considering, or did you see something in the notes for the next patch that is like, you know what, I'll just stick it out with the Demon Hunter?
I did see that the demon hunters are getting a single target buff, so it did uh, give me a hit to my enthusiasm towards switching to mage. And then I thought, oh well, for a mage I can just go frost instead. But I just hit 40 renown on Night Fae, and for frost you have to go Venthyr. So it's just a whole nother fucking swap over and
But
grind renown again. And
I thought you wanted to play fire.
fire's getting nerfed. They're sending it to the Shadowlands. Oh fuck, we're all there.
So, in keeping with the tradition, where does the mage name come from?
Uh, I don't know what's my mage's name.
It's a good question. I played with you once on your mage. I just remember it was Bell something. It's your mage.
Belchy? I don't know where that name would come from. Probably Jason and the Argonauts.
Oh God. I shouldn't have said something and let you go with your Argonaut story.
Yeah, it's definitely Jason and the Argonauts. That's definitely because everybody knows that back then Zeus called Jason Belchy.
Okay.
Then you're calling me a weeb? That's funny, me die.
So it's been quite a while since you main tanked for the raid. You have guest tanked on appearance, and I mean you've still been phenomenal at it. How does it feel to go from tanking an entire expansion to where you're now dealing damage? Do you miss being up front like that, or you're just fine damage?
Um, it's weird because I like tanking more now, but that's because damage sucks. Uh, and Blizzard kind of like crushed back in BFA the way that the Havoc Demon Hunters talents synergize, and it all just feels broken and yucky now, and it still feels broken and yucky. It just it's a little better, I guess, with the legendary. But I tanked when Havoc was the strongest, and that makes me sad. But at least I also got to enjoy the fact that tanks were fucking unkillable in Legion, and they were also self-sustaining.
Yeah, you did some incredible things, and I will say on uh, Denathrius, I mean, you still did some incredible things. You were definitely able to take a little bit more than me at some points. I mean, I think I had checked out at that point because the fight is not fun, to put it simple.
What do you mean? It's tons of fun.
Mm-mm.
The fun comes from pointing them towards the ads.
Yeah, we do our best aiming, and we still only half the time get the outer one. Oh, so aggravating. But at least that's done, and I just hope they make this next raid just a little bit more accessible. Do you feel like the first raid of the expansion was just was overtuned?
Mm, not really, because I mean, Heroic Gahoon was a fucking kick in the nuts. And more so than I think that Denathrius was a kick in the nuts.
I mean, I know that we repeated a Denathrius kill more than Gahun, but I think we have spent far more time and gone to Denathrius far more than Gahun, because I believe uh, the raid with Gahun, it became unfun really quick. Where Nathria, everything but the Nathrius is for the most part fun. Now, granted, the dialogue makes the Nathrius a great encounter. Like,
Hey,
just
choke me,
sitting there
daddy.
listening to him. And yes, the Choke Me Daddy memes. So, I don't know. At least there was an ending to the fight, which is more than we could say Gahun. Gahun dies, and it's like, okay. I don't even think an NPC comes out to say, congratulations, you saved us. Nope, nothing.
Why would they be? We're in an old god prison. We can't. Why would an NPC be there?
I don't know. Just to appear afterwards? I don't know.
Sorry, Lena. Shadow Priests are actually getting nerfed next patch, so you have to deal with that.
So, going forward, how do you feel about our the chances of the guild in the next raid? Are you looking forward to it? And have you looked into it at all?
I haven't really looked into much for the next raid. I know that the last boss and all that crap there, but Yeah, I'm always interested in a new raid when it comes out, and we'll just have to see whether or not it's stage 1 or terminal cancer we'll get from trying to do the boss fights. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited for it, I guess.
Yeah. I how have you been handling this incredibly long break between content?
Playing other games.
I hear that. What seems to be your go-to at the moment, besides the usual scheduled Monday entertainment?
Let's see. Well, I will fuck around now WoW for a bit while I was doing the mage stuff. But now it's got to the point where I've got to do M plus for gearing. It's it's stagnated, and I don't really want to do it much. Before that, it was finally getting around to play Cyberpunk, which was fun until it was broken. Uh, what other games I played? Oh, I went through Terraria on Journey mode. Now that all that shit was released, that was pretty fun.
Okay. For the most part, we've covered most things in the game, but you do have a side interest that we all find rather enjoyable. Can you explain to our lovely viewers the appeal, if not the allure, of Gargura?
You have another 3 hours, Zeld. Because I
Sure, let's
beat it.
go for it.
It's perfection. It's a shark, but it's cute, right? And now it's a cat shark, and it's even more cute.
Wait, she
And
changed her
and
image?
and and she may have been a gremlin in the past, and she definitely was, but we don't talk about that. And her old stuff was hilarious, and her new stuff is fun to watch because it's the same person, but a little bit more say so, as they say. And then sometimes she's not so say so, so it's even better. It's just VTubers are the best, and anybody that says that they're not are just they just hate
Fun.
joy.
There you go. Well, if anybody out there is um, uh, working with Gargura, I have your number one fan here.
Oh, that's
Is
right. Ragnall did the rigging on her new model.
so she changed her the avatar?
Updated, new outfit, and then they tossed the cat ears on there.
Well, does she still have the shark appearance?
She still has the sharp teethers and the shark tail.
Okay. Besides obviously entertaining people with what she plays, all the games, be they current or just whatever, what makes her actually entertaining? Like, is there a routine she does? Is there just the way she's playing or the conversations she strikes up? What would you say
Typically, the
makes her
conversation she strikes up. She has a masterclass ability to fucking jinx herself. Like any time that she's like, oh, like Chad will say, uh, "Don't be scared," and then she'll be like, "No, I'm not scared. Everything's good, guys." And she'll be playing a horror game. Not a fucking half a second later, a jump scare will pop out around the corner, and she scream like a fucking banshee because she was caught off guard. And recently, she's been playing Resident Evil Village, and
okay?
she was haunting tall lady vampire mommy from the safe room because you buy stuff there, and they made it so
Mm-hmm.
that they can't go in and attack you when you're in that room. So she's standing with the door open, staring at her, and Vampire Mommy's staring back, and she's just talking shit the whole time. She's like, "Hey, can't come get me. What are you gonna do about?" It? And then she took a step outside the door, and then Vampire Mommy took a step towards her, and then she back through the door. She's like, "Oh, red light, green light, red light, green light," and then she took one more step forward. Lady Demetra started taking another step towards her, and then she's like, "Ha, red light." She backed up into the room, but she was mid attack, so Lady Demetrius just kept going forward and attacked her in the safe room and knocked her on her ass and damn near killed her. I was like, okay, I had that coming.
Yeah, you can only take so many chances. I, I need to check that game out one day. It almost sounds like one of my favorite horror games, Outlast. If you ever played that, that game was intense.
I have not, but you know who has?
Who's that?
I'll let you take a guess. So use that.
Are we gonna say Gargura?
Oh my god, my man's got it.
I thought it was a great game. I never played the second one though. I heard it wasn't as good. So what is Conquer Online?
Was it a Korean MMO or was it Chinese MMO? Either way, it was. I mean, it was all translated into English for us, but it it. Oh, okay, it was Korean. You make your character. You could be like a warrior, a wizard, oh no, Taoist, and a bunch of other different classes, and you fucking jumped everywhere that you went on the map, and it was like almost top down, but
Okay.
at a different angle so you can see your character. You just go around beating the shit out of stuff and trying to get meteorites so you could upgrade your shit. It was grindy, and there was gold selling on it, but we played the fuck out of that every day before first period at school on the school's computers because we may have downloaded it into the shared files on the computer system
Oh boy.
sneakily. And yeah, we played it there, and then we'd play it at home on our
So
up.
what genre of a game was it?
This is
Was
an
it?
MMO, I guess.
No, I mean, was it like fantasy fighting?
Fan- uh, Fantasy, I guess.
Okay, because you mentioned jumping and all of it, and upgrading your abilities, and I think back to a game called, it wasn't an MMO, it was a single player game called the Jade Empire, where it was a role playing game but with martial arts. So I was just trying to figure that out.
It was. It's kind of like Diablo, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look into that just so I can take a peek at it. Similar to the previous person that I interviewed, shout out once again to our guild officer, Mage. You and many others enjoy a night of anime on Fridays. What would be your recommendations for either people getting into it or just looking for something to break into it?
To just take a step in anime. I got a couple. Boku no Pico, that's a good one. Redo of Healer, another good one. Let's see. Interspecies Reviewers is another great one. This is all for just
Don't
dipping your
don't do
toe
that.
into it. Uh, let's see what other really fucked up anime have I watched.
Yeah, yeah, you're listing quite a few of them.
Oh, La Blue Girl.
Oh
Fuck yeah, that's a
God.
good one. That one's really good.
Oh,
Bible Black. That's a good one to get into. Madoka Magica. There's definitely another twist in that. Uh, Fuck off with your fruits basket. I don't even want to watch a porn version of that.
we're not, apparently we're not going to be recommending things like Card Captor or Ranma or Sailor Moon. Like, no, we're just going to the good stuff. Just
If
rip the
people really
band-aid
want
off,
to get
right?
into anime, they could probably dip their toes in with My Hero. The first few seasons are solid, even
My
if
Hero
things have
Academia.
kind of gotten a little now.
Okay.
Uh, Demon Slayer's a good one for somebody that's not used to anime, because that one's just got really nice art. If you're not used to anime tropes, it's probably gonna fuck with your head, but Jobless Reincarnation just came out the first half of the first season. That one's really good.
Okay.
Whenever
Well,
Metamorphosis gets an anime adaptation, that'll be a good one.
well, the thing about anime, there are hundreds, if not thousands, and no matter what you're into, folks, there's always something out there for it.
It's
So,
true. Even real weird shit.
yeah, yeah, nice, fun stuff. So, before we call this a wrap, a special shout out to, and I have to fight back bile because I'm going to mention a druid's name here. Ugh. Happy birthday to Sparkle Pony, wherever you are. Hope you're having a good night. Cheers. So, Argonaut, you have done a great deal of things for the guild, with the guild, throughout the years. A long, long time, a storied history. I thank you dearly for agreeing to do this, for your time, for all the work that you've put into the past, and I hope that we have many more stories and awesome adventures together within Universal Order. Uh,
Hey, no problem. Me too. I don't know what Mayday was talking about. I had fun. I mean, this wasn't torture at all. This was probably the highlight of my week, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
well, appreciate your time. So, folks, this is Argonaut, who would probably be giving everybody the thumbs up or something, but again, money was better spent on Gargura merchandise than a webcam. I am your host, the Bronx Paladin. Thank you for your time, and until the next time.
What the name?